Good morning, kids. Dad here. It is a chilly, chilly Saturday morning, April 18th, 2026. It's 9:37 a.m. And I had a good night last night. I had a very good night last night, my Friday night. Got to sit up by the fireplace watching Top Gun Maverick with a couple of the residents here at Bravo Zulu House. And it was pretty neat. We have one resident here. He's pretty new. He's been here about a month now, and he came to us. He was a Marine. He was in Fallujah, which look up Fallujah, Iraq. Fallujah, I believe. There's some pretty intense battles there in the early to mid 2000s. So anyhow, that's where he spent a lot of his time. That's where a lot of his demons came from. But anyhow, he comes to us from Kansas, and uh, he'd spent a lot of time, 10, 15 years, doing what a lot of these veterans do, doing what I did for a bit. Not that long, but certainly I had my experience with it, where he was, using substances, drugs, alcohol, whatever the case is, things intended to get him out of his normal state of mind, things to get him in a different state of mind because he didn't like his normal being with his normal thoughts. So anyhow, he spent a long time doing that, and he came to us a little over a month ago now. And when he showed up, like a lot of these guys, he was a mess. He was well. I remember this guy in particular. He got out of the truck. The people who drove him up here from Kansas, and he was shaking, and he could barely talk without crying. And he was looking around and surrounded by cornfields. It's one house in the middle of nowhere, and he was just, saying, I'm not sure where I am. I don't know if I should be here. I don't know. I don't know if this is the right thing. And uh, I just took him for a walk around the house. We just took like two big, long, slow laps around the yard, kind of walked the perimeter of the 5 acre property here. And a little bit of my reasoning for doing that is just knowing people with PTSD, knowing people with anxiety issues, helping him get familiar with his surroundings, letting him see the landscape, right? So he could get oriented, so he kind of could get to know where he was, his perimeter. That's his safe zone. Then he knows his borders. But I walked around the property with him for about 5 or 10 minutes and just listened to him talk, and just assured him along the way, that's okay, you know, it's all good, man, it's all good. Nothing to be sorry about, nothing to be scared of here. And then ultimately, I would ask him, are you ready to go check out inside the house? And he was after a bit, and gave him that kind of day one tour, helped him get familiar with the house, and we got him kind of settled in. And his first 24, 48 hours here, again, he was a mess. He could barely put together two sentences. And if he could put together two sentences, they were on totally different subjects. So he couldn't maintain a conversation. He'd say, oh, look at this cool thing over here. Oh, when I was a kid, I did this. Oh, does anybody know about that? So it's just jumping around a lot, right? It wasn't a straight line of thought. And it was very, difficult to understand, because it was redlining and anxiety. And he was also just coming out of a long extended period of using a lot of drugs. So his brain wasn't quite leveled out yet. So anyhow, this guy spent the last month here doing what I call doing the right thing. Every day he's waking up and he's attending a support group meeting, and he's doing prayer, and he's doing meditation, and he's getting a workout in, and he doesn't work. He can't work, but he's going to the Salvation Army, to a food shelf. He's doing it for free, volunteering, just going down and spending 10, 12-hour days helping out in the food pantry, helping organize it, helping bring in new food, helping give food out to people who are in need. He's doing that a couple days a week. And then he's, in the evenings, he's attending another meeting, another support group meeting. And I've seen him do this every day for a little over a month now. And it's amazing the change in this guy. I see him now in these meetings. Just a couple days ago, last week, I had an absolute blessing. He led during a meeting. It was a meeting with about 50 people in it, all on Zoom. And he was the featured speaker. So he talked about 20 minutes. And he told people about his experience in life, kind of his story, his journey. And then he ended it the last 2 or 3 minutes. He talked about the solution. He talked about what he does now and how his life has changed by doing what he does now here at Bravo Zulu House. And all 50 people were just, wow. They were amazed because he delivered a really, really powerful message that inspired a lot of people and encouraged a lot of people and gave a lot of people really good advice on how to turn your life around. And I've seen over the course of a month where he attends these support group meetings, he's starting to build a family. He goes to some of the same meetings, so he sees a lot of the same people, and he's getting to know them. And they call him outside the meeting to ask him how he's doing. And he calls them. And he's starting to build this family. And along the way, I'm seeing him laugh. Seeing him laugh hysterically. He gets cracked up. He's like a little kid. He'll something silly and goofy. He'll just belly laugh for minutes over. Boy, that's a different guy than the guy I saw get out of that truck 30 days ago, 35 days ago, who was just terrified. All he could do was just tremble and cry a bit. And I do see him cry now. He gets emotional. Something hits him, and he'll tear up. So he's experiencing his emotions without drugs or alcohol, and he's doing it well, and it's fantastic to see. He's becoming a human being again. That zombie, that person who only knew pain, is no longer there. So that's one of the gifts that I get here at Bravo Zulu, doing what I'm doing down here with these guys. But the neat thing last night, what I thought of you kids and why I wanted to share this was, so last night, it's cold down here. It's 30, 40 degrees right now. Nice, we had a very nice week this week, and all of a sudden last night, today, it's kind of nasty. So we threw some logs in the fireplace, and Top Gun Maverick was on. And this guy, this Marine, his name is John. John had never seen Top Gun Maverick. And when he said that, I was like, whoa. And I told him that I saw this movie about 4 years ago when it came out with my oldest son, Kavanaugh. And we went to the theater for a little father-son movie night. And we sat in this movie together and we watched it. And I had goosebumps during it. I was crying during parts of it. And right when the movie ended, I looked at Kavanaugh and I said, wow, what did you think? And Kavanaugh looks at me and he says, Dad, that's the coolest movie I've ever seen. And I looked at Cav and I said, I agree. That was awesome. And how, Cav, it's such a cherished memory of seeing Maverick in the theater that night with you. That I shared that with John, and John watched it last night then. And I got to see John watching it for the first time. I got to see him just jumping up. Wow, cool, that's so cool. During some of the scenes, where when Maverick completes the test course to prove to him the mission can be done, when they're on the actual mission, and all the SAM missiles are firing at him, and the flares are popping off, and to see him all thrilled, and it reminded me a lot of you, Cav, just because this guy John, he's kind of like a kid right now, right? Because he's emotionally, psychologically, he's kind of like a 10-year-old kid, like a 9-year-old kid, and he's learning a lot. He's growing up fast. I've gotten to see this kid grow up in the last month, so Cav, I'm so blessed and grateful that we were able to share that Maverick Top Gun experience together at the theater. Um, it'll always be a special movie for me. And anyhow, it's 9:47 here. This is a long video, but you know what? John here at Bravo Zulu House, he's got a great story. I'm happy to share. I was happy to be able to share it with you a bit today, and to share Cav how much Maverick will always have a special place to me. How much I can't see it on TV. I always just stop and watch it if it's on. I always think of you, and you're sitting right next to me whenever I watch it. So I love you, kids. I'm gonna get about some morning yoga here, do a yoga session, and then go about my Saturday. Love you kids so much. We'll talk soon.